Hello and welcome to Tarot Thursday. I'm your host, Reverend Mary Hawk, and with me is Reverend Don Lewis.
Hello.
And a very happy birthday to you, Reverend Don.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me.
It is my pleasure.
And hello to everyone who is joining us. As usual, if you have a question for us, post your question in chat and we will do a 3-card, more or less, tarot reading for you. Or if you just want to say hi, post and in chat and tell us where you are.
Absolutely.
And hello to Lena, who's asking for a general reading for July and August.
Okay. And hello to Morgane. And thank you, Morgane, for the happy birthday.
Hello, Morgane. It's good to see you. And I understand you just had a bit of a tornado issue in Danville.
Yes, we did.
And Lucas says happy birthday.
Thank you, Lucas.
So the first card I've got for you, and I apologize, I'm working with the new system tonight, so I got to get used to where to hold the card, is Fortune. So you're going to see some good luck from the universe. Next card I've got for you is the Queen of Lamps. So you have everything you already need for your current situation. So work with the people and the resources you already have. And I have the 6 of Swords. And this means you are going to have a journey coming up. Could be a physical journey, it could be a spiritual journey, but you do have a journey coming up in your future.
Then I have drawn the Magus. The Magus represents being in a position from which you can work your will in the situation. As long as you're clear on what you want, you can bring it about. So for this couple of months period, you want to stay focused, you want to be clear on what you want, and you should be able to bring that about. With it, we have the 7 of Lamps, which says that during this period, you're going to be going through a bit of a cleansing, a letting go of things that have burdened you or held you back, and then the ability to embrace new things. So while you're creating that situation around you and bringing about what you want, you will also be letting go of things, things that do not serve you, things that have perhaps emotionally oppressed you, perhaps otherwise held you back. And then we have the Soul. And the Soul says that this is a very important point in your soul's growth. The things that you're doing, they're not just important in terms of your physical life, but also your spiritual development. And it looks to me like things should be going fairly well for you in a physical sense, but spiritually, there's a lot of growth going on that you may or may not be conscious of. But it's a very good time for you in that respect. And then I'm going to draw the infamous Brian card. And the Brian card is the 9 of Wands. And the 9 of Wands says, Be patient with your situation. Changes are coming, developments are coming. Let them come at their own pace. And again, you have the ability to work what you want, but be patient with that. I'm going to draw a second card to go with that. And I've drawn the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups says to again, be very clear on what you want, and do not be distracted by things or allow inconsequential things to overpower what is really important. And that's what I get. So there you go.
And hello to Kylene.
Hello, Kylene.
And she is wishing you a happy birthday in Uganda.
Thank you, Kylene.
And Morgane is asking for a reading. Her younger brother is very ill. She's asking if he will pass away this year.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm sorry to hear about his illness.
Yes. Okay. Well, I will go first, but before I go, I want to say a couple of things about readings about death. And death is a very individual thing. And I come from the point of view that the subject of the question, the person in question, has a great deal of control over the situation, not consciously, but spiritually. And I have seen people who were supposedly at death's door go on and live for 20 years after, because they just weren't ready yet. And I've seen other people who everything said they were going to recover, but they were ready to go. They did not. And the thing is, this can also change in process. So I'll tell you what the cards say, but well, and they're just, I've already drawn them, so I know what they're going to say, and they're going to say the same basic thing. A lot of this depends on where your brother is and whether he's ready to cross and whether he wants to cross. So the first card is the Princess of Coins, which is having everything you need but holding back. Second is the Prince of Lamps, which is beating up on yourself and holding yourself to blame for all kinds of things that are not your fault. You can see he's wrapped in barbed wire in the picture. Eight of Cups is Phantoms. I would say that where your brother is, there are a lot of things that he is dealing with, which how he deals with them impacts the situation. They may be regrets. They may be maybe fear of the beyond, because sometimes people are very afraid of crossing over. But there are a lot of things that he must deal with. Now, I also drew the Brian card already, and I drew the Ten of Lamps, which is enlightenment and self-mastery. So I'm going to say that if he's ready, yes, he will cross this year. But he needs to resolve some things inside himself before he'll be able to do it. There are things that he's waiting to resolve or waiting to see a change with. that will not let him go at this time. But if he resolves those, then perhaps yes. And part of it depends. Is that what he wants to do? And if he doesn't, he still needs to resolve those things to go forward in this life. So basically, he needs to do a lot of self-work. And that is what I get on it.
What he said about death. Now, the first card I've got is the Two of Cups. And that is about relationships. And since you asked about your brother, I am inclined to say that there is a relationship that right now is keeping him from moving on. It could be a romantic relationship. It could be another relationship. But there is something that is keeping him from moving on. Now I've got the 10 of lamps. Lamps relates to magic and spirituality. And the 10 is about completion and finishing things. It's what we see with 10s. So there is something he needs to finish. And I've got the moon. And here we see a group of people doing a ritual within some triptychs similar to those at Stonehenge. So I don't know if he works with magic, but if he does, there's some magic that perhaps you or he needs to work. And I pulled another card and I got the 5 of Swords. So he is conflicted at this point. So I hope that gives you some clarity on the situation, Morgane.
Yeah. And I would say anything that you can do to help him to achieve his clarity will certainly help matters, one way or the other.
Yes. And Lena, you're very welcome. And Lena wishes you a happy birthday.
Thank you, Lena.
Hello to Michael. And
Hello,
Lucas
Michael.
wants to know, is joining the Forest Hermitage in the cards for me?
Okay. The Forest Hermitage.
That sounds cool and pleasant about now.
Well, yes, it does.
And Morgane says, thank you both so much. The reading was very clarifying.
Oh, good. So, the cards that I have drawn are the 4 of Lamps, Death, and the 10 of Wands. The 4 of Lamps represents you're searching for spiritual expansion. spiritual meaning, spiritual fulfillment. And death says that will make a big change when you get it. And if you pursue this forest hermitage, it would be a gigantic change for you. Not saying if that's good or bad, just a gigantic change. And the Ten of Wands says, it's not quite time yet, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I'm going to draw the Brian card to go with it. And I've drawn the Queen of Wands, which is satisfaction. What I would say is have a good look at whether or not this is really what you want. Understand it will be a big change if you do it, and it won't be quite right now, but it wouldn't necessarily be all that far in the future. And I'm going to draw one more card. I've drawn the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups says that in making your decision of what you want to do, look to your past experiences. Possibly even the involvement of a person from the past, but definitely past experiences, and apply the wisdom that comes from that. So I don't exactly get an answer of yes, you will, or no, you won't, but these are the circumstances of what will happen if you do. It will be a huge change, and you can basically judge the situation from the past. There you go.
So I have the Two of Lamps, and this is talking about seeking spiritual guidance, just what you are doing. I have the Three of Lamps, and this is talking about living up to your highest ideals. And that is also clearly something you are seeking to do. I've got the Prince of Swords, and this is talking about self-care, or it could be seeking out what it is you want in the situation. Definitely following your desires. And I've got the Princess of Lamps, talking about applying magic to the situation. So, or applying your spirituality to the situation.
Yeah.
That might be a better reading for you. So I'm feeling that this is something coming for you. And maybe something you need to work towards pursuing.
Hmm.
And I'm back. Apparently, I just temporarily lost my internet connection.
All righty then. Spend the night for that sort of thing.
So it has. You're very welcome, Lucas.
Absolutely.
And if you did not catch it earlier, we did premiere Pagan World News.
Yes.
And you can go back and view it on our channels. And tomorrow at 7 Central, 8 Eastern will be the first episode of Drum roll.
Bum, 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 bum.
You want to do it or you want me to?
The greatest ever pagan super show extravaganza.
Which is our new talk show. And our first guest will be Mana Youngbear, who is a priestess of Isis and a druid.
Yes.
And we'll be talking to her about her work as a druid and a priestess of Isis and her new book, The Adventures of Laura Lee Lightheart.
Yes.
So please join us for that.
Yes, indeed.
And Kylene, thank you for the drum roll. And does anyone have a question for us? I hope you will join us.
Yes.
Why, thank you, Sean. We appreciate that. And blessed
Absolutely.
be. And we are going to pause for a moment for a word from our sponsors. Except I don't see the sponsor right now. So,
Okay.
the Crystal Web ritual was to be earlier this evening, Kylene, but
Yeah, the tornado got in the way. My internet was down for a little bit. But, you know, everyone can go ahead and do it, even though we were not able to telecast it this evening. And we certainly will go ahead and do it.
yes. But yes, we were about ready to go live.
Yeah. Then suddenly we weren't live anymore.
Well, I was,
Well, yeah.
but we're already sharing several parts between us for the ritual.
Yes.
I didn't want to do them all. And I feel like that would be very confusing anyway.
Yeah.
If it is 7 Central, then that would be 6 Mountain and 5 Pacific.
Okay.
I always have to count it off in my head.
And Kayleen says that she did her crystal web ritual yesterday in Australia.
Yes.
Yesterday to us, I assume.
Yes. Because it's actually the 12th in Australia.
Yes.
Because the international date line makes things interesting.
Yes.
Yes. When I saw Rolando wished you a happy birthday, I thought I couldn't have missed his birthday. No, Rolando's a day ahead of us.
Yes. Yes, this is true.
They're like, no. He's on my birthday calendar. Hi, Harry. Happy to have you. Welcome.
Yes, indeed. No, I've gotten many wonderful birthday greetings, and I always try to answer all of them insofar as possible. And the ones that come on Facebook, they don't make it overly easy to answer them, because as you get more of them, it gets harder to get down to them and get them. But I got everybody, I believe.
It is not always possible on Facebook. There have been years when Facebook will just say, "You got another 30 greetings, Mary," but it doesn't show them to me.
Yeah, I would hate that.
And so I generally just wind up making a generic post the day after my birthday, thanking everyone for their wonderful greetings.
Well, I just kept trying till I got them all. Although more are still coming in, which is very heartwarming.
It is.
And thank you, Harry, for your happy birthday. It's that time again.
Yes.
Another year older.
You're not older, you're vintage.
I'm almost antique.
Good evening, Shaggy. Kylene says, I sometimes do a personal review on my birthday. Is there anything magical or spiritual it would be worth people considering for their birthdays?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I tend to think of birthdays similarly to how I think of New Year, in that I think it's good to try to do the things that you want to do in the coming year on your birthday if you can. And that you have a little bit of an omen in the things that do happen. I also think it's a good time, obviously, to think about what you do want to do in the coming year, and to reflect on not only the past year, but at least by this point in your life. I mean, if I were 25, reflecting on my life would not necessarily be a birthday activity. But at the age that I am, yes, it is. And it's always life is always a work in progress, at least up until that last day. And sometimes when you're experiencing things, you don't necessarily have a clear understanding of what their real effects are going to be, why they may have happened. The passage of a few years can make a lot of difference in how you look at something. And yeah, I mean, it's a time, I think, for self-reflection. My old friend Dina Buddha, who was an Nicene archpriestess like Mani Youngbear, a member of the Archpriesthood Union, but she made a comment when she hit 50 that she only wanted that this was the point after which you only have one candle on your cake. And she could not understand why anybody would do otherwise, because you run the risk of being accused of arson if you're not careful. But yes, after 50, it is a little different how you look at it. And of course, there's never an age at which I think would be bad to be doing self-reflection on your birthday. It's just something that will give you more results as you get older, because you look back at things and you see that they weren't necessarily how you perceived them while you were living them. And their outcomes weren't necessarily what you initially thought they were. Things have an interesting way of working out. And and Kayleen says that in their case, eating carrot cake and doing a wrinkle census are two of their birthday goals.
I go with the carrot cake. I ignore the wrinkles.
Well, they're proof that you've been there.
This is true.
It's interesting how people relate to the changes that age makes in our bodies. And I am no exception to vanity, to be sure, with my my filming makeup and my beard dye and so forth. However, usually I'm using it for aesthetic reasons, not a fear of growing older. I was talking with my niece and nephew, the current first priesthood of the Correllian tradition, recently about a mutual acquaintance who obviously I won't name, but this person always uses all these filters whenever they do a video to look younger than they are. And we all agreed, well, yes, they make this person look younger, but they don't look better. They look better as they are. It takes all the definition out of their face. But you have to be willing to accept yourself as you are, to realize that as you get older, you get more definition. Taking out all the wrinkles is possible with filters, but you can end up looking like a potato with eyes. This is not the goal.
Microsoft Teams has a potato filter.
I did not know that. Do you mean by that they have an extreme youth filter, or one that literally makes you into a potato?
You can literally turn yourself into a potato in Microsoft Teams.
How useful for those who wish to be potatoes.
Erica says, so long as it is a sweet potato.
That's very cool, Erica, yes.
Lynn says, happy birthday, Lord Don.
Thank you, Lynn. Speaking of age, we were talking about how some people become addicted to plastic surgery. And plastic surgery can be really good for a person sometimes. Or it can turn you into a caricature. And you have to know where the difference is. And we talked about various people who did or did not see the line they should not cross with plastic surgery. I'm not going to name anyone who we cited as a bad example, because that would not be very nice. But I remember talking about Gloria Swanson as an example of someone who really did it well and also knew when to stop. She aged with grace, even though she did choose to have some work done along the way. But she never looked like something other than human, for want of a better way to put it.
Yes. Kylene says, I find wrinkles help me save money in the summer. I only put sunscreen on the upper surface of the wrinkles. Harry says, Teams work so well, so much better than Zoom. Shaggy says, that's a great way of looking at ourselves getting older. I love it. And also, happy birthday, Reverend Don.
Thank you. I always tell people, I think I look pretty good for a 70-year-old man. What I'll look like when I hit 70, I don't know, but right
And
now I look good if I were a 70-year-old man.
And now we have to tell the selfie story again.
Yes, we must tell the selfie story.
At the Global Lustration in Nashville this year, Reverend Don and I were taking a selfie on our way to lustration, and a very young man came up and offered to take the picture for us and added, I hope when I get to be your age, I will look as good.
Yeah, that was very sweet of him, but it did leave us wondering what he thought our age was.
Yes, it did.
And Kayleen points out that plastic surgery was originally developed for major injuries. But it also gives surgeons a chance to practice for those major injuries and situations that aren't. And Harry says the physiognomist Prosopa on Prosopa Insights on YouTube is of the opinion that if you have plastic surgery, it can change your personality to reflect the changes you've made in your appearance. And that person is of the opinion that if you have a nose job, you will sometimes make yourself impulsive by shortening or changing your nose. And yeah, I could see that. I'd want to talk to some people who had done it to see, but I can see how changing your appearance can make changes beyond your appearance. But I don't know that it would. I'd have to talk to people. Since I haven't known anyone who's done that.
Shaggy says you're welcome, and yes, you look awesome. Thank you, Shaggy.
Thank you.
Kylene says, good point to Harry. And does anyone else want a reading, by the way?
Well, it's interesting that we bring this up because, among other things, I do palmistry. And in palmistry, if you get a cut on your hand that basically makes the new line, you do read that. I mean, it does carry the meaning.
I don't know if you can see it. I'll have to show it to you the next time I see you in person.
Yeah.
I have the mark of Zorro on my palm.
Oh boy. So you're out there fighting injustice.
I do have a Z-shaped scar on my palm.
Very cool.
Which I got running my palm up the trim of my mother's car to keep from tripping over a cat.
Oh, okay.
Yes. While roller skating in our driveway. Yeah. When I was 14. Yeah, 14. So it does make it rather different from my left.
Yes. Well, and the two hands are very different. One is more about potential, the other is more about expression. Those two things can be very, very different indeed. And again, if anyone has a final question, feel free to bring it up.
Yes,
We are nearing the end of the hour,
we are indeed.
but we could do a couple more.
We have time for probably 2, maybe 3 more readings. Unless the internet weasels get us again.
It seems to me the whole last 24 hours, the internet has been problematic. Seems like everything on every machine was slower than usual. And Shaggy says, "Oh no, I can't change my nose. I'm part nose hound." But I think that's not what we're saying. We're saying consider the change that it will make. It doesn't say you can't do it. And Harry would love a reading. And
I asked to have an NDE in order to be able to talk face to face to the divine and then get to return to tell the tale. Will that request be granted in my life? We'll say this lifetime.
you can do that through meditation.
Yeah, that's considerably less traumatic.
But we can draw cards for this.
Also considerably less expensive, unless you're not in the U.S. But if you're in the U.S., Harry, you don't want that expense, my friend.
Well, you never know. I mean, it doesn't have to be. All that disruptive. Okay. First card, 3 of Wands. Second card, 6 of Swords. Third card, the Lovers. So to my surprise, I'm inclined to say that, well, yes, at some point, this may very well happen for you. And the reason I say that, 3 of Wands is celebration and community, getting something that you've worked for. 6 of Swords is a trip, which it would be. And the Lovers is a choice, which of course would be inherent to that situation. So if the question is, are you going to have that experience? I would say these cards say yes. Let me draw a Brian card, however. Why? Because Brian always has something to add. The Brian card is the 8 of Cups, which is phantoms and being haunted by things that are not really there. So I think I would say that while I get the answer is yes, remember there are other ways to do it, and this is far from the only way.
So the first card I've got is the 4 of Cups. And the 4 of Cups is about being in a situation that is okay, but you're looking for something else. So Why do you want this experience? Then, before I show you this card, I need to tell you that when Reverend Don did the Kickstarter for this deck, one of the options was to commission a card. And I commissioned him to draw me as the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords! Because this card has been representing me for nearly 30 years. So the Queen of Swords tells you to examine a situation and ask yourself what went right in that situation and what went wrong. And swords are about communication and being careful in your communication. So, taken with the Four of Cups, I'm back to why are you asking this particular question? And then I've got the Chariot. And the Chariot indicates things can move very quickly. And when I draw the Brian card, I've got magic. So you can manifest a near-death experience if that's what you really want. So, do you want to be able to brag about having had a near-death experience? Or do you actually want to facilitate communication with the divine? Because like Reverend Don said, you can do that with meditation. That's a matter of developing a spiritual practice. You can learn that by buying his degree books or enrolling at witchschool.com, or honestly, there are all kinds of resources to teach you to meditate. So, what is it that you truly want?
But anyway, there you go.
So, there you have it. And there are lots of different forms of meditation. Meditation is not necessarily sitting and muttering something.
Oh, no.
Some people meditate by moving.
Well, it's also worth bearing in mind that the experience that they're actually asking about can come in meditation. It can come in dreams. It can come in experiences that are not quite so extreme. So there are a lot of possibilities.
My friend and her husband, they've both crossed now, bless them. While she was my coven sister, he did not follow any particular path, but he said he talked to God sitting on the dock fishing.
Yep.
But that was when Bud felt the closest to God.
Mm-hmm.
Kylene says Tai Chi is a good meditation for me. It can be.
Mm-hmm. Many people love Tai Chi. There are all kinds of things you can do. And that's part of the beauty of life. It takes so many different forms. And Kayleen says that as an Aboriginal person, my view of the divine is that it is the world around us.
Yes.
So, tomorrow night, we have the best ever pagan super show extravaganza. Or the greatest ever pagan super show extravaganza, one or the other.
We've gone back and forth about the title,
Yeah.
but we actually made up the promotional material with greatest ever. So I think we finally came down on that.
Okay. But it's one or the other. It will be tomorrow night. And we have a lovely interview with the Aeaean Archpriestess Maniunda. And that will be very, very entertaining for you. So I hope you will watch.
Yes.
And remember to watch for Pagan World News, which will continue to come to you.
Yes.
And there we are.
And if you are interested in being a reporter for Pagan World News, please reach out to Ed Hubbard.
Yes, Ed the Pagan. Because the more the merrier.
Definitely. Yeah, we're about to the top of the hour, so will you close us out with a prayer, please?
I will. Divine Mother Goddess, Divine Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you for all that you do for us in our lives, and we rejoice in this walk we walk together, and we ask you to help us to see clearly the things around us and before us, and to make good judgments of how we interact with them as we go forward. Help us to build the lives that we desire, and to improve the world that we live in each day that we are here. Beloved Mother Goddess, beloved Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you with great love. And knowing you are always with us, still from respect, we thank you for your presence. And may the blessing be upon you now and always. May the blessing be upon you as well.
Blessed be everyone, and we'll see you next week for Tarot Thursday.